Hi, and welcome to a short video to show you how Gravitee supports event-native use cases and how to create APIs backing onto Kafka, MQTT, RabbitMQ, etc. Okay, so now let's head over to Gravitee first of all. And you can see we've got our Gravitee API Manager dashboard with a number of APIs. Okay, and next let's head over to Confluent as well. So you can see I've got my Confluent Cloud instance here, and I've got a cluster called demo cluster, and I've got a topic which is called Kafka messages. At the moment it's got no messages in there, but we're going to show you how to essentially push messages in and subscribe to messages as well. Okay, so now let's head over to API Manager again, and let's create an API. So first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to do simple Kafka publish. Okay, so I'm just going to post messages into Kafka. So I'm going to do create API in Gravitee. I'm going to call my API name Kafka publish. I'm going to do version number of 0.1. Just simply say this is a event native API test. Validate my endpoints. This time I'm not going to use the normal proxies. I'm going to use the event driven proxy here. And I'm going to do it, first of all, I'm going to do a post. And I'm going to put in my context path here, which is Kafka publish. Nice and straightforward. Okay, so now I'm going to do a HTTP post. That's fine. Backend is Kafka. Fine. And then you put in the Bootstrap server. Okay, so the Bootstrap server, where do we get it from? So if we go to our Confluent Cloud cluster, you can see we've got cluster settings here, and you can see that we've got our Bootstrap server there. So I'm just going to copy that, and I'm going to paste that into my Bootstrap server config here. Then what we're going to do is configure our security. Now at the moment we've got supporting, so this is going to produce messages, by the way, and then we're going to do SASL, and then we're going to say plain text here, and then we're going to put our config in. So this config is something that you can actually generate from here. So let me show you this as well. So you've got cluster settings here, and then you've got API keys, and you can generate your API keys from this part of the Confluent Cloud portal, and you put in your config here. So I'm just going to put it in as open text so you can see what I'm up to. But essentially, you can see here that you can actually have properties as well. So this is the recommendation from Gravitee to actually use a portal property, but just to show you what the format is. Okay, so next is let's add a Kafka topic to use. So what we're going to do is we created a topic called Kafka messages. So let's do that. Kafka messages. Messages, yeah, and that's fine. Just use the rest of the defaults. Validate my endpoints, and you can see that we've now created a API. Okay, so save and deploy, and now my API has been created. Okay, so now what we're going to do is head over to Postman and let's test this API. So you can see here I've just sent in a message which is 1, but also what we can do, let's send in some more messages. So 2, you can see the 202 is reassuring, and then 3. So what we've done is just sent in some messages into that connection. So Kafka publish, we've just hit that API, and subsequently let's head over to Confluent Cloud, and you can see those messages have landed. So 1, 2, 3. So what we've done so quickly is that we've proxied a connection to our Kafka cluster by just a simple API. Okay, so we've done the publish now. So now let's do the subscribe. So same again, let's go through our API management. So let's do a create here, and this time I'm going to do Kafka. Oops, if I can spell that. subscribe. Okay, again, 0.1, validate my endpoint. Okay, now this time I'm going to do a WebSocket because it doesn't make sense to do gets. So I'm going to open up a WebSocket to essentially pull that data and stream it into a WebSocket. So select my endpoint there. I'm going to do Kafka subscribe. Perfect. Now do validate my endpoints. Again, this is going to be Kafka. Okay, configure as before. So let's pull that config again. Let's just make sure I've got it. So Kafka, the Bootstrap server. This time it's it's a consumer. SASL again. It's plain again. And then let's just grab my config. There. Okay, that's cool. Let's now look at, I think it was called Kafka messages. Let me just check that before I, yeah, Kafka _ messages. Okay, cool. Okay, again, unsecured, that's fine. And validate my endpoint, which is save and deploy. Okay, so now I've got a Kafka subscribe endpoint. Okay, so let's head over to Postman again and show you my WebSocket endpoint. So this time I've got WebSocket localhost 8082 Kafka subscribe. So what I'm going to do is that I have disconnected. I've just disconnected, but let's connect again. Okay, so connected to that WebSocket. So now let's do a push. So let's do a push, and you can see if I do 5 now and do send and do subscribe, you can see that that message has come into the subscribe. 5. Now if I do 6, then the second message should have come in 6. So essentially in that short period of time, what we've done is that we've created 2 APIs. One is a publish and one is a subscribe, and you can see those messages landing in Kafka. So we are able to push messages in via a simple API that we've created within a few minutes, and we're able to subscribe to those messages via a WebSocket as well. So another thing that's worth mentioning as well is that we support MQTT, and in the same way what we can do is send messages in. So if you look, we've got an MQTT publish here. The entry point is MQTT publish. The endpoint is MQTT, configured in very much the same way. This is running on, I've got Gravitee running on a local Docker instance. So in order to access localhost, I need to run this because I've got MQTT running on localhost. Got the configuration there, and it's writing to a topic here, test MQTT. If I go to my broker now, we've got new test. If I head over to Postman, and I'm just going to go over to my local MQTT test and just send in a message, which is 13, to send. Okay, you get a 202, which is reassuring, and you get a new message, so new test 13. So I hope that makes sense. Please come back to me for any more information. I'd love to go through your use case with you using Gravitee. Thanks. Bye.